The thing about the Super Bowl is that the Lions have already won the Super Bowl. So, uh, uh, the Lions have already lost the Super Bowl. So basically, why have the Lions already won the Super Bowl, even when they're about to win the NFC? It's quite simple. Like, if there really was a plan for years in advance to help the Lions win the Super Bowl, then basically Matthew Stafford would have never been traded. So basically, Goff would have won the Super Bowl on the Rams, and then you just keep Matthew Stafford there in Detroit. You keep him and give him Dan Campbell, and Matt Stafford wins Super Bowl 59. So they know Detroit are not going to win the Super Bowl. That is exactly why Matthew Stafford got traded, because the NFL wants to somewhat give this guy a ring because his career was wasted because if he were to have stayed with the Lions, then he still would have zero Super Bowls. And because the Lions were not planned to win the Super Bowl years in advance, that's where the NFL said, okay, Lions not going to win the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford, we're going to give you a ring in LA. So if it really was planned for the Lions to win Super Bowl 59 years and years and years in advance, then basically Matthew Stafford would have never gotten traded. He would have never gotten traded if they were planning on the Lions to win this Super Bowl. Because he did get traded and win his ring, the Lions are not going to win. It would have meant something more special for Matt Stafford to win in a Detroit Lions uniform. So that's why the Lions have zero chance of winning, because my position is if the Lions were picked years in advance to win Super Bowl 59 with Dan Campbell, then I am of the view that the NFL would have never traded Matt Stafford to LA. This trade wasn't done between the general managers. It was done by the script writers. They knew the Lions were going to lose against the Chiefs, but they gave Matthew Stafford a way out to win the Super Bowl. Jared Goff, he's this guy who who only scored 3 points in 4 quarters of a Super Bowl. So he's a good quarterback. He's a Carson Palmer. He's an Eli Manning, but he's not something super special. But Matthew Stafford, he's something else. Jared Goff was never that guy until he was never great in the postseason with the Rams. He was never great from the beginning like Matthew Stafford. So when the Lions are playing in the Super Bowl, they have zero chance of winning. If they were really supposed to be the winner, Matthew Stafford would have never gotten traded in the first place. Matthew Stafford could go out with a ring with the Lions. And he's still playing today, by the way, and he's still the same quarterback. And the Lions have a better team than the Rams, so he still would be performing if he were on the Lions. Basically, if it was really planned for the Lions to win the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford would have never left. That is my opinion. That is my position. But they know the Lions were not supposed to win. That's why they traded Matt Stafford away. And let me close by saying that Jared Goff is supposed to be the guy in ritualistic fashion to lose to Patrick Mahomes and the Tom Brady, the two GOATs. So the only quarterback to lose a Super Bowl to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes is Jared Thomas Goff. The only quarterback to lose to both Brady and Mahomes in the Super Bowl, his name is Jared Goff. It's that easy when you think about it from that lens, from that aspect. Already, they were double-digit odds. All the bets were pouring on the Lions. There's such a big liability on the Lions that from that perspective, from that lens, the Lions are not allowed to win. But from the perspective of Matt Stafford being traded, He was supposed to win the ring. The NFL wasn't planning on the Lions winning the ring in Super Bowl 59, so that's why Matt Stafford got traded. When you think about it from that aspect and not just all of the liability on the Detroit Lions at double-digit odds, when you think about it, were the Lions really supposed to have a chance of winning? No. Only if they kept Matthew Stafford. If they were picked to win if they were picked to win a Super Bowl, if the Lions were told by the league, you're winning the Super Bowl and you're denying the Chiefs three-peat, they would have kept Matthew Stafford. Because they know he's not going to win. They know he's getting screwed. They know the Rams are supposed to win. A behind-the-door deal was made for the Lions to say, hey, if the Rams you're supposed to win, then we're going to give you Matthew Stafford. And everybody felt sorry for him. And the best thing about that was before the Lions got good. So no one had an idea that the Lions were going to be good beyond Super Bowl 56. But then the Lions got good, and they were planning for them to be good for a while. You don't give a guy like Dan Campbell a 5-year contract unless you are expecting big things from the Detroit Lions. Giving a guy an unproven commodity 5-year contract, they already knew the script called for the Lions to go from being losers to NFC champions competing in a Super Bowl. And it's planned years in advance, and you don't give a guy a 5-year contract like that wanting all this to happen up by chance. It just doesn't happen. On the NFC side, I don't know. A losing quarterback to make it back. John Elway was the last one to win a Super Bowl after losing. The next one is going to be he won after losing. Burrow's going to be the next to win after losing, and he's going to be the first Heisman to win since Jim Plunkett in Super Bowl 18. You know, he played college football at Stafford in Super Bowl 60 is over at the Bay Area. So I got to do a Heisman video on Joe Burrow, but I can save that for a whole other day. But basically, this Super Bowl has already been determined. It's just common sense. It's not only the betting liabilities, but it's also from the aspect of, are the Lions really supposed to win? They could have easily had Matthew Stafford for this entire journey. So even the Lions know they're losing the Super Bowl. Believe me on that. Even they know they're losing the Super Bowl. It's a happier ending for Matthew Stafford to win a ring than just getting royally fucked. Whatever season this is, year 13, 14, 15, whatever. So the NFL orchestrated a trade to send them to the Rams, to give them that ring. So the Lions have no chance of winning the Super Bowl. From the ritualistic, he loses to Mahomes and Brady. Let's just ignore the Eagles. Let's ignore the Rams because they're nobodies. The only game that you can say is worthy of watching this week is the Ravens and the Bills, because that's the only one where, hey, either team that wins, it's a great matchup regardless. But after 5 out of 6 games are blowouts, this can't be good for business. So will the Lions game be close? Yeah, it probably will. Will the script call for the Chiefs to play sluggish like they haven't played in 24 days and come back and win? Well, they're down 24-0 against the Texans, and I think they won like 51-30 or something. That was like in 2019. So some scripts are going to call for the winning team to start out slow. Kansas City, you could totally see them starting out slow. The Detroit Lions, you could easily see starting out slow in the game. But they're all gimmicks so people can stay and watch until the end. The Eagles, they're going to destroy the Rams, so people be like, oh, they barely beat the Washington football team. The Eagles destroyed the Rams. The Eagles are going to win. Well, everybody hates Philadelphia. Everybody loves the Lions. The team that everyone loves is going to win to make it to the Super Bowl. But then the people's darlings are going to lose against the team everybody loves to hate. Everybody loves Philadelphia because Philadelphia has the worst fans in the country. The Lions are going to win. Everybody's rooting for the Lions. The Lions are at home. The Lions are going to beat the Eagles because those fans are absolute animals. They are garbage. Did you see the video of that one drunk middle-aged guy routinely calling this female Packers fan a cunt? You know, this guy is now banned from Lincoln Financial Field, but he's the only guy that got videotaped and caught. Everybody does that at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles are the absolute worst. They will boo and heckle and spill beer on your kids. The Eagles are absolute filth. The fan base takes being a prideful fan, they're confusing that with being a douchebag. So that's why the Lions are going to absolutely beat the Eagles. The Eagles have zero chance of making it to the Super Bowl. They have zero chance. Because America wins when Philadelphia's not in the Super Bowl. But America loses when the Chiefs win the three-peat. But America loses when the biggest asshole fan base in basically, they're probably worse than Raider fans. They booed Santa Claus. They threw snowballs at Santa Claus. Come on, a Lions team that gets fucked in the ass for decades against the biggest asshole fans in NFL. Lions are absolutely going to beat the Eagles. It doesn't take an idiot to know that the Lions are going to beat the Eagles. Lions will absolutely beat the Eagles. They have zero chance. Eagles have zero chance. And I think if Washington, if they lose and by a possession, then people will be like, oh, they can win the NFC East. They can win the division. They a couple years, they can make it to the Super Bowl. So that's one of the top things that as far as the post-game discussion that intrigues me about a close game between Washington and Detroit. Is that people will say, oh, this is a Super Bowl contender next year if they lose by a possession or something against the Detroit Lions. But I think this Detroit close game is all about so some people can think that the Lions are going to choke again. Yeah, I'll choke next week against the Eagles, right? It's already been written how the games are going to turn out this week. There's been too many blowouts. The bottom line is we're not going to see blowouts like this. The NFL is going to manipulate the games for the sake of the ratings. And the ratings took a slight hit in regular season. The NFL is doing still very fine with ratings, but the ratings went just a teeny bit down during the regular season, and the games have been terrible. So I don't think the numbers are going to be that great once they come out with the ratings for the entirety of Wild Card Week. So the bottom line is it has to be must-watch TV. Advertisement slots, divisional games. There's only 7 games left. People are trying to buy slots to air ads for their companies. It's not just the Super Bowl. It's through the entirety of the postseason. So these games are bound to be close. Now that there's not even 8 games left. There's 7 games left. But this is what I think about as far as Matt Stafford. When I'm watching Matthew Stafford in the playoffs, it's like, why isn't he on the Lions today? Why did they really get rid of him? Because they wanted to give him a Super Bowl, and it was never, ever planned for the Lions to win a Super Bowl. If it really was planned for the Lions to win the Super Bowl literally 5, 7, 8 years in advance, I guarantee you they would have kept Stafford. They would have told him the script. But they got rid of him, so the Lions have zero chance. That is what is actually happening. when you think about it, when you really, really, really think about it, why isn't he on the Lions? Because they weren't going to break his heart. They're going to give him a Super Bowl. There's some characters out there that never get the ultimate glory. Jared Goff is simply the guy that's going to lose to both Mahomes and Brady. It's like this playoffs is just so predictable. It's just laughably predictable. Don't get you to watch. They'll have the Texans winning in the first quarter. Oh my God. Rams City Chiefs are losing. Remember, they were losing 24-0 to the Texans all the way back in 2020. They were losing 24-0 to the Texans. They came back and won that game. So they have the ability to manipulate the divisional round week. It didn't matter if it appeared that the Ravens had zero chance of winning. The safety was purposely lined up underneath in coverage. He threw one up to Jacoby Jones, and we get the mile-high miracle. And this satisfied the Ray Lewis, goes out retiring on top, and he thanks Jesus every single week during that playoff run. But this one right here is about tying Terry Bradshaw at his birth state of Louisiana. This Super Bowl here is about accomplishing history and being 3 Super Bowls away from tying Tom Brady. It is about crowning this Chiefs team the greatest team in the history of the NFL. The only team to win the Super Bowl and lose one game all season for their starters is the 1985-86 Bears. They won the Super Bowl at New Orleans, defeating the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. And now the Chiefs, their starters only lost one game all season. They played the second, third string the last week of the year. Their starters will only lose one game all season long and win a total of 18 games. That team would beat a 17-2 Detroit Lions team. The Chiefs are the greatest team ever. With a 17-2 Chiefs team, they beat that 17-2 Lions team. This is the matchup that brings the box office numbers, that brings the attention to the pop culture of Eminem and Taylor Swift, and bringing out the music fans to the festivities of the next 2 weeks. And all you hear is Eminem, Taylor Swift talking the smack about the team that we're going to come in and fight and win. And you're interviewing Eminem before the game. You're doing the special on Taylor Swift. This pop culture WWE entertainment complex means the Chiefs and the Lions is the matchup. The game was rigged last year between the Lions and the 49ers because Patrick Mahomes is going to beat his team twice. Who's his number one bench? Is it the Bills or is it the 49ers? 4 straight playoff losses against the Bills. Is it inevitable? Or is it the 2 losses in the Super Bowl for the team that passed on Patrick Mahomes? It's hard to tell, but after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, who is Patrick Mahomes' biggest bitch? The 49ers or the Buffalo Cattle, the Buffalo Bills? Will come out with that poll right after the Super Bowl. I think the Lions should still be a playoff team. Maybe not as good as the Packers, but the Lions should be good enough to still make it to the playoffs one more time next year. The Cardinals lost to the Steelers in heartbreaking fashion. They still made it to the playoffs. They lost in the divisional round. I could see like the Lions losing in the divisional round or something the next year or something like that, losing the wild card and then lose in the heartbreaking fashion, or maybe lose in the divisional round next year, something of that nature, something like that. Something like that could happen for the Lions where they still make it to the playoff. But yeah, that's life. It's about rejection. So sorry, Detroit Lions. Your guys are going to lose the Super Bowl because it has already been written by the scriptwriters. 10 straight playoff wins. The only loss in week 10. The 10th pick. The 10th win against the Lions. That is the script. It has already been written. They already determined the winner before the season. The script never flips. Oh, DeMar Hamlin's gonna win the Super Bowl after what happened to him? He went in a coma, didn't he? Right? You see, they already come out the script for the season. They just don't change it on the spot to have the Bills win as some emotional retribution for DeMar Hamlin. It never happened. Oh, the Rams are going to win the NFC because of the road flyers are really not happening. I just told you why. They don't flip no damn script after DeMar Hamlin got concussed and he lost consciousness on the field. That's not what happens. This is a very, very recent example. They don't just flip it on the spot. Oh, Rams are 1-9 upside. No, that's not what happens. Well, people thought he was going to die. Oh, his first season back, DeMar Hamlin at Buffalo. They're going to win, rally around DeMar. Didn't happen. Just watch the Rams season ends. You never heard any Rams players say we want to bring joy and pride to the fans. You didn't hear the Clippers say that. You heard the Lakers say that. Why did every team in LA say that? Because the Lakers are the ones that are going to bring the ode of joy to Los Angelinos this June, when people's living situations are going to somewhat be a little bit more clear once they resolve their entire situation over these next few months, which are going to be very difficult. But by the time that May and June comes, hopefully there will be a coherent plan for these people that they are in a better living situation and they will have some anxiety or whatever taken away, getting rid of all that. I don't know how they're going to recover everyone's stuff. I don't know what's going to happen, but definitely the Lakers are going to bring some emotional escape, some emotional, I call it emotional relief for the people. It's not just celebrities that lost everything. Ordinary people lost everything. It's not just celebrities. But yeah, I think it's a disgrace that they took the game off of ESPN tomorrow. It's like they hate the Lakers. They hate Gold the Bond so much they wouldn't air the Lakers' first win since the fires. They originally had the game on ESPN. Like, who wants to watch the gay-ass Timberwolves and arrogant, weak sauce Anthony Edwards? Seriously. Another day where Goat King the Bond is hated and they treat his team terribly and they take the game off the network. Well, Miami Heat are going to lose tomorrow. As long as the Heat keep losing, there's going to be pressure to trade Jimmy Butler. You may as well get something from him right now. You may as well get something for him instead of nothing. You better just trade the guy. If he doesn't want to play for you, what's the sense of Jimmy Butler staying? You have to launch a trade if you're the Miami Heat. You want to keep a guy who doesn't want to be there. He told you he wants to be traded right now because Jimmy Butler is trying to help out the Heat organization, giving them some assets before it's too late. So, Pat Riley, get your job done. Get the trade going. The Lakers going to make that happen with the win tomorrow.